Hey, I'm Victor Lucas. This is Johnny Millennium. You're watching Film Fury. We're going to review The Lost City of Zed, but before we do that, we just want to thank our partners at the VFS School of Film. Now, The Lost City of Zed was out earlier this year. It was a movie that Johnny and I did not see in theaters.
Why didn't we see it?
I think we were busy. There was a lot of video game stuff.
There was a lot
tons.
going on. Yeah.
And I wanted to see this, but again, I think I was out of town. But thankfully, home video exists, and it doesn't take too long before these things arrive in our hot little hands.
I know, and I get the call saying, "Hey, you got to watch this movie. We have to review it." So I watched this movie. Continue on.
Okay, this is a movie about a real-life adventurer and explorer called Percy Fawcett, played by Charlie Hunnam, who we've seen in Pacific Rim and Sons of Anarchy. He's building a nice resume for himself as this leading man. Robert Pattinson from the Twilight movies is also in this movie in kind of camouflage. You don't even really know it's him.
There's a big beard going on,
big beard, these little kind of John Lennon spec glasses. And Tom Holland appears in this movie as well as Charlie Hunnam's son.
I know. I was like, what the heck? This guy's in everything now. It's kind of amazing.
He's going to be Nathan Drake pretty soon.
Oh, he's going to be a huge star for sure.
Yeah, he's terrific. Terrific young actor. And we've also got Sienna Miller in here, who's one of my favorites. I've always loved her work. I think she's terrific. She plays the wife of Percy Fawcett, who has to deal with the huge extents of time that he spends away from his life.
This is like 20 years. This entire movie takes place over 20 years. It starts place in 1902 and then goes all the way 20 years into the future about his life and exploring. And God damn it, this movie is boring as hell. I was so bored. I was shaking my fist at you yesterday. It was real Film Fury. I'm like, oh my God, this is so dull.
I can see why you feel that, but I did not feel that at all.
Really?
I was not bored. I was really impressed with the time that it takes to sort of sink us into what is absolutely the real thing. We know we're in the Amazon. We know we're in the jungle, and there is real effort to create these beautiful images of people kind of enduring this
hell on earth.
It's hell, but we get to see the beauty of it all too. And I thought the performances were pretty solid. There was a real sense of Charlie Hunnam's character just having to deal with whatever befell them, whether it be natives who are shooting arrows at them or piranhas attacking them or all kinds of other sort of nasty stuff that dredges up in these jungles.
My problem with this movie is it's really cool that it's based on a real life story.
Yeah.
Those old adventures, that's a great tale into itself. Something I'd like to read in a book,
well,
but in a movie, it was so boring. We've seen this movie so many times before. 1492, remember that movie?
Yep.
Well, the natives attacking the white people, going through a brand new land, trying to discover it all that kind of stuff. But oh my God,
man,
come on.
It takes its time.
It is so dull. The action performances are fine, but there's nothing really going on there.
No, absolutely not. They are being attacked by the environment. This is like a PvE type movie, you know? Like they're just trying to survive.
That doesn't make for good watching, though.
I disagree. I think it does, but you have to kind of just sink into the couch and just sort of.
I can't get any more sunk into the couch watching that movie. I'm like, where's this movie going? Is he going to do something? He just keeps coming back from the Amazon and going back.
He saw it as his life story. He saw it as his calling.
I know. He wants to find the lost city of Zed. That's a big thing.
It was the beginning of the 20th century. There was all kinds of technology available to these people. The South Pole had been explored, and that gets talked a little bit about in this movie as well. And there was this ambition that existed around geographic groups that around the world trying to hunt down resources and dig into jungles. Of course, they're looking for this famous, fabled golden city. And Charlie Hunnam's Percy Fawcett is mocked by some of his peers. He's betrayed by some. He's mocked by Johnny Millennium. He's got to contend with a lot of hostile elements, and he still perseveres and he gets up, and it's so inspirational that he could pull his group together and go out on this obviously deadly mission more than once to ingrain himself deeper and deeper in the jungle. I thought it was a wonderful story.
They should have called this movie The Lost City of Zed. The reason why, and my problem with the movie is he's obsessed with The Lost City of Zed, which I appreciate that idea.
Yeah.
But in the movie, they did not sell me on the fact of why is he so obsessed with it? Why? Okay, you find some pots and pans in a forest, but why is he like so obsessed? He's giving up his family for it. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, it's grounded in reality. It's the reason why I wanted to see this movie is that this was an influential story in the development of Indiana Jones, and that's the way it was marketed. It is not an Indiana Jones movie.
You're damn right. I thought it was. I thought it was going to be like that.
I know, and I thought so. I thought it would, you know, sort of steer into that world a little bit more. But I applaud its adherence to reality, and I applaud the fact that there was a real, you know, obvious effort here to kind of make this a true-to-life story.
But it's so true to life. It's boring. I go to a movie because I want to get lost in the world.
But it's not boring.
It is boring.
The guy and his peers and his colleagues gave their lives in a literal sense to the Amazon and to exploring this world, and also the messages of that are sort of relayed in this movie about this nobleman in England kind of talking to his group, saying that, you know, what are quote unquote savages having a prehistoric or a primitive civilization, which is not quite so primitive after all, is kind of magnificent, you know, and also it was a wonderful kind of you know, jump into you know, celebrating what has come before.
I get that, but like, just because it happened in reality doesn't mean we should make a movie out of it. Just because we should be telling it's boring.
Johnny,
it's a
like,
dull story.
honestly, if we don't make a movie about a guy that explored the Amazon,
no, write a book about it. You know,
like what do we make movies for?
I agree with you.
Like,
but this is like, they could have made it entertaining, and they did not.
It was absolutely entertaining.
I didn't buy his story.
I disagree.
I didn't buy his story. It didn't make any sense why he was leaving his family. I didn't buy it. I didn't see his obsession.
Because we don't have that level of obsession for that kind of particular adventuring.
Sure.
Right? We live in a different era where everything is
I adventure all the time to EB Games to buy video games. Thank you very much.
And you venture all the way over to East Van, and we shoot some stuff every once in a
sometimes,
while.
It's
but
it's
no, this was a different life, man. They got on boats and trains
the real life story.
And
you're trying to make it seem as though I don't appreciate the real life story.
Yeah.
I do, but I think it was a shoddy adaptation of that story.
I disagree.
I think it should have been a little bit of entertainment. The characters are very weak. His right-hand man, he just sits there half the time, doesn't say anything. It's boring, this movie.
Well, they went through a concerted effort not to make these people larger-than-life heroes. I think that one of their biggest issues is
they have to have some personality.
They didn't want to make, you know, the African Queen. And they didn't want to make Raiders of the Lost Ark, you know, even though the movie and its you know, pageantry and the way that it looks evokes those kinds of films. It isn't that, and the characters are much more grounded and humble and down to earth and realistic and well realized. There's a lot of unspoken sort of scenes that exist between the husband and the wife.
I didn't buy them though. I didn't buy anything.
That you can feel the pull that they have for each other and the pressures and the love and the support. And they do give up everything. They sacrifice. I mean, this was an era of sacrifice. You know, not only does he go off and explore the Amazon, he comes back and he fights in the First World War.
I know, he's a hero.
And
he's a hero.
It was a
he's
time
a real life hero.
It was a time of stepping up and being heroes.
But it was boring to watch.
And real life, I certainly didn't get that. I do understand the sort of. There are definitely educational overtones here, and it does make it more of something that will be shown in schools than
as a school thing to bore some children. This is going to be wonderful when they bring in the TV and they put in that movie.
Come on,
get some Z's.
You had to enjoy the cinematography and the way
that
they shot.
The cinematography looks fine, but they have that in so many films now.
Right.
That doesn't stand out.
Yeah.
I wasn't blown away by it. Some natives come out and throw some spears. I've seen that so many times. I need to be invested with the characters. They didn't sell me with these characters. I didn't care.
I really did, and I think obviously I was enamored with the idea that somebody actually did do all this, and there have been.
I like that idea that they did that, but it was not a fun watch.
And I think it's fun. I think it is fun, but I also think it's important to kind of sort of honor the work that people like this have done, and I think this movie absolutely does that. But it sounds like you were just.
I got nothing more to say about
this movie. You were bored. What are you going to give The Lost City of Zed?
I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10.
A 5?
Oh, yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah.
It gets an 8 from me.
So if you want to make a better movie than The Lost City of Z, or you just want to make a different movie, go to VFS.edu and sign up for their 1-year program.